But 50 years ago, the war went on, only ending finally with the defeat of Japan. In a packed weekend in August, that is what the nation commemorated.
In the summer of 1945, people took to the streets in Piccadilly and on Broadway, in Blackpool and White City, to celebrate the end of the war in Europe. To tens of thousands of Allied soldiers, those place names had a very different resonance. They were the names of airstrips, hacked from the Burmese jungle, part of their ongoing war. In the summer of 1946, while London celebrated with a VJ Victory Parade, many servicemen still could not attend, in many cases as a result of illness contracted or injury sustained in Japanese prisoner of war camps. This afternoon, more than 50 years on, the ranks of survivors gather. They've waited a long time for their victory celebration. The last muster, the last great parade. There now begins the act of remembrance.
Let us remember before God all those who have died as a result of war, oppression, and tyranny.
The Viscount Slim reads the Kohima epitaph.
When you go home, tell them of us and say, for your tomorrow we gave our today.
There are tens of thousands of people lining the pavement, perhaps 100 deep in places, between Buckingham Palace and Admiralty Arch. We prepare for the beginning of the Veterans Parade. The long river of memories begins to wind from Buckingham Palace down the Mall. Standards of the Burma Star Association. At their head is Royal Highness Prince Philip, the Countess Mountbatten, and Lord Slim, son of Burma's Uncle Bill, President of the Association. Also there in the front rank, nearest to the Queen, Walford Hughes.
What a day to be on parade. It's been a wonderful experience. It lived up to every piece of thought and imagination built over 50 years. Oh boy, this is what it must have been like 50 years ago.
motto of the Far East Prisoner of War clubs is to keep going the spirit that kept us going. 12,000 men died in the Far East, and of the 37,000 that came back, many died prematurely. Still they come from round the Victoria Memorial. The organisers had really no idea how many people were going to turn up today. They began by estimating 7,000, then it went up to 10, it could be 12 or 15 before they're finished. Restored vehicles from the Invicta Military Vehicle Preservation Society. And here a wartime memory for Her Majesty. In the spring of 1945 she joined the Auxiliary Territorial Service, where she learned to drive in an Austin Tilley van. This afternoon, veterans and youngsters together have marked the end of a chapter in the nation's history. It's been a celebration of the end of the whole of the Second World War. There was bravery and loss in every corner of it. But there's no doubting that at the heart of this parade have been the survivors of the Japanese War and ghosts of the fallen comrades that marched beside them. Uncle Bill Slim's army has made it home, and we've been privileged to be on hand to witness the moment.
That afternoon, the Queen travelled from Westminster along the Thames by motor launch to the Royal Yacht Britannia, escorted by a river pageant of 200 little ships, many of them survivors from the evacuation of Dunkirk in 1940. Britannia was moored by Tower Bridge in the Pool of London at the heart of the celebrations. In an evening packed with events, 20 British aerospace jets formed up in a special flypast, a tribute from the airmen of 1995 to their heroic forebears. And then the crowds, including thousands of veterans who had marched by the Queen that morning, waited for the climax of the day's events. 18 tons of fireworks launched from 5 barges moored along the Thames from the Tower to Westminster. A fantastic display.